Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. We are going to learn about the life of Albert Einstein. This will be a simple and easy to understand biography, perfect for practicing your English listening skills. Let's get started. Albert Einstein is one of the most famous scientists in history. His name is known all over the world, not just because of his wild hair, but because of his brilliant mind. But did you know that Einstein's story is full of surprises? Let's take a journey through his life and discover how this boy, who once struggled in school, became a genius who changed the world forever. Albert Einstein was born on March 14, 1879, in Ulm, a small city in Germany. His father, Hermann Einstein, was a businessman, and his mother, Pauline Einstein, loved music. Albert had one younger sister, Maya, and they were very close. When Albert was a baby, his parents thought something was wrong with him. He didn't talk until he was 3 years old. Even when he started talking, he was very quiet. People called him the quiet boy. Albert was curious from a young age. When he was 5 years old, his father gave him a compass. Albert was amazed. "Why does the needle always point north?" he asked. This was the moment when his love for science began. Albert was not a typical student. He didn't like school very much. In Germany, schools were very strict. Teachers wanted students to memorize everything. But Albert liked to think deeply. He didn't want to just memorize. He wanted to understand. One of his teachers even said, "Albert, you will never amount to anything." Albert's family moved to Italy when he was a teenager, and Albert stayed in Germany to finish school. But he hated it. So, he left school without telling his parents. He later went to Switzerland, where schools were less strict. There, he finished high school and entered a university in Zurich. At the university, Albert studied physics and mathematics. He loved asking big questions like, what is light? How does it move? What is time? Albert met a woman named Mileva Merrick at the university. She was also a physics student, and they often talked about science together. Later, they got married and had 2 sons, Hans and Eduard. But life wasn't easy for Albert. After finishing university, he couldn't find a job as a professor. Instead, he worked at a patent office in Bern, Switzerland. His job was to check inventions and see if they worked. Even though this job was not exciting, it gave Albert time to think. And think he did. In his free time, Albert wrote scientific papers. He had big ideas that would soon change the world. In 1905, something amazing happened. Albert published 4 papers that changed science forever. Scientists call this year the miracle year because of his incredible discoveries. The photoelectric effect. Albert explained how light works like small particles called photons. This idea was so important that it later helped create things like solar panels. Brownian motion. Albert showed how tiny particles move in water. This proved that atoms exist. Special theory of relativity. Albert said that time and space are not fixed. They change depending on how fast you are moving. This idea was revolutionary. E equals mc squared. Albert showed that energy and mass are connected. This famous equation means a small amount of mass can create a huge amount of energy. This idea later led to the creation of nuclear energy. Albert's ideas were new and strange. At first, many scientists didn't believe him. But over time, they realized he was right. Albert's fame grew. In 1915, he finished his general theory of relativity. This theory explained how gravity works. He said that massive objects like the sun bend space and time around them. This idea was hard to understand, but it was later proven true. In 1921, Albert won the Nobel Prize in Physics, not for his theories of relativity, but for his work on the photoelectric effect. By this time, Albert was a celebrity. People everywhere wanted to meet him. He gave lectures all over the world, from the United States to Japan. But Albert didn't just think about science. He also cared deeply about peace. After World War I, he spoke out against war and wanted countries to work together. In the 1930s, the world became dangerous for Albert. Adolf Hitler and the Nazis came to power in Germany. Albert was Jewish, and the Nazis hated Jewish people. They even called Albert's science dangerous. Albert decided to leave Germany. He moved to the United States and began working at Princeton University. He lived there for the rest of his life. During World War II, Albert learned that scientists in Germany were trying to build a powerful bomb. Albert wrote a letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, warning him about this. This led to the creation of the Manhattan Project, which built the first nuclear bombs. Albert later said he regretted this because he loved peace. Albert Einstein died on April 18, 1955, at the age of 76. Even in his last days, he was still thinking about science. He left behind a legacy of knowledge and inspiration. Today, Albert Einstein is remembered as one of the greatest minds in history. His ideas changed the way we see the world. But his story also teaches us an important lesson. Never give up. Even if others don't believe in you, keep following your dreams. Thank you for listening to the story of Albert Einstein. Did you enjoy it? Remember, learning English can be fun when you listen to stories like this. Keep practicing, and one day you'll be fluent. See you in the next story.